Number 16 in our Mastering the Minis course is an uneven 9 patch. I have lots of fabric that will lend itself to doing some fussy cutting. So I've decided to have another square that will allow me to use a nice big piece of fabric. You certainly don't need a fussy cut piece of fabric, but any big print would go well in this square here. That square is 2.25 inches. So I'm going to use my fussy cutting fabric that I've been using all along, and I am going to have squares out of this fabric, and I'm going to use my stripes as the side pieces. So let's get it cutting. So the first thing we're going to do is cut out the fussy cut part. I'm going to do this one on point. So I kind of want to have it going like, I want to have the watering can, and I'm going to try and get my diagonal line to go right through the center. I have marked my 2.25 and 2.25 with my sticky note, and I'm just eyeballing the center as much as possible, trying to make sure that I'm going to have that 1/4 inch all the way around as well. It's tricky with the nozzle of that. Let's see if I go this way a little bit. It's tricky with the nozzle to try and get everything in there. It's a good thing it's a nice big piece. So I'll go ahead and cut these two sides. And then this is nice because I can sort of move those out of the way. And now I can line up this side with my edges here. I'm actually going to do 2 of these, so I'll be fussy cutting that out as well. I want to use my stripe. My stripe needs to be 1 3/8 inches. So, and I need 4 of them. So it's going to be 1 3/8 by 2.25. So I am going to go ahead and cut the 1 3/8 out, and then I'll move to the 2.25. And I like to use my stripes going in that direction. My block also needs 4 corners. Those are 1 3/8 inches square. I'm starting to get down to scraps, which is so awesome. Be very little left of that layer cake when I'm done with it. And I cut this one as a 1 3/8 strip. So now I just need quarters. So all this is a 9 patch. Stick the sky in the center, these in the corners, these on the sides, and stick it together like I would any 9 patch. So I like to start in the center, moving them over just like that, and get sewing. So I finished up sewing my block together, or sewing my sides together, and went ahead and measured. Always measure to make sure you're in the right place. And when I measured, I was a little bit larger than where I wanted to be. And so I went ahead and increased my seam allowance. With these minis, I have found that the seam allowance from one day to the next is just, sometimes it just doesn't look right. And so I've been increasing and decreasing my seam allowance as needed in order to make sure that I'm getting the size that I want. So I measure frequently and change my seam allowance frequently. When I'm doing a 9 patch, I like to press out on my outs and in on my in if I can. Sometimes the fabric doesn't like that. So that way my seams nest and I don't have to worry about which way do I press my seams. If I always remember that on 9 patches, I go out on the outs, then I don't have to worry about how I press those. So now I can put all of it together. Turn that over for you so it looks so cute. There we go. And we'll finish this baby up. I'm going to press on both sides. I usually start on the back just to make sure all of my seams are going in the right direction. And then I turn it over and press on the front. Nice thing about using a scant seam allowance to begin with is that all you'll have to do is re-sew a little bit further in. That makes it easier for me. I'd rather sew than rip any day. All right, let's square this to 4 inches. And there we have it. Block number 16 of our Mastering the Minis course.